What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Ugh. Oh man, dude, we jammed. Oh, that was so good. I'm so happy that it was so good. I mean, obviously they were gone for 5 years, so you'll get a little bit concerned. You're like, are they going to be able to live up to that? And man, I thought this album absolutely did. So I'm going to give my first listen review, which is again just my overall thoughts from the notes I took down. And again, that is coming up next. So let's talk about Miss May I, Curse of Existence. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and talk about Miss May I again with their brand new album, Curse of Existence. Absolutely loved it through and through. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic metalcore album. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros that stuck out to me here. I'm going to say pro number one, of course, I said it throughout the entire reaction, those riffs, man. Now, I mean, the vocals are great. Everything about the album is great. The production's fantastic. But the riffs on this album are amazing. I am legitimately humming the riffs. Sometimes I just hum the riff to Unconquered just around my house when I'm doing dishes or doing chores around my house. And then there's so many the riffs on here you just hum, and I think that's a really big standout to this album, is that of course you have the catchy choruses, the great screaming, great singing vocals, but for me personally, I'm gonna be humming some of these riffs for a while when I'm kind of just doing stuff. The riffs absolutely held my attention throughout every single song. I thought they were absolutely terrific. Again, the production made it sound even better. Absolutely wonderful here. I also really like the lyrics on this album. Levi, who of course is the screamer of this band, I'm gonna put the article on screen for you guys to follow along. It said, "Curse of Existence is exactly what it reads. The curse we have in our existence. This doesn't mean anything strictly negative, but it covers all existence, that is, the good and the bad, the high and the lows, the sorrow and the joy. Everything that comes with life comes with a lesson and a price, and that is what we have put into this new album. It tells our lessons over our lives that shaped us and have brought us to the very bottom of our lowest lows and our tallest points to our highest high. We know the reflection we all went through during the world coming to a halt, and that experience brought a lot of these shelter emotions to light." And so, yeah, there's a lot of songs on the album, definitely, I think, focus on mental health, what's going on in the world right now, and a whole bunch of other topics that I think that we can all relate to. I know a lot of people think that metal bands are of the devil, but it's usually just 5 guys in a room that are trying to just get over some kind of depression, anxiety, or trying to deal with how they see the world nowadays. And what these guys do in Miss May I is create music in a healthy way to kind of get that emotion out there. So I thought they did a really good job of explaining, the album is about that, the curse of existence, where sometimes we have to live a life that's hard. Doesn't mean there's not good moments or bad moments. It's just that sometimes life can be a curse, and we have to be able to accept that. But it's what we do with those actions is how we're going to deal with those things. And so I thought they did a really good job with the lyrics on this album. Really, really good job. Really big standout here. Pro number 3, kind of generic, but it's like they never left. Like, honestly, I was kind of concerned after 5 years. I was like, I don't know, man. Their last album, Shadows Inside, was really good. I actually really, really liked that album. And then they kind of disappeared, and I was like, it's weird. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but... And then I thought maybe Unconquered was going to be like that, the only good song off the album, and I was pleasantly surprised that everything... It felt like they never left. These guys are stronger than ever. So good. And then my last big pro is that this album has no fillers. There's no interlude tracks. There's no songs that are like 8 to 10 minutes long. It is fast paced. It's quick. It's just to the point metalcore. And that's what I personally like. I don't like long songs over 8 minutes if there's nothing to it here, or interludes that just feel like they could have been taken off the album. This album, again, as I say it's all raw, no rubber, and it's absolutely terrific. Well, the only con that I would say with this album here is that some of the songs, most of the songs on the album, do have a predictable structure to them. Like, you know when it's going to hit, you know that the riff's going to carry the song, and they're going to get super sick vocals, super sick clean. So there's nothing crazy about these songs, but they just are put together so well that I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So again, if you're looking for something that's absolutely insanely crazy, you're not going to get that with this album, but you are going to get just a good old-fashioned modern day metalcore album drawing influences from older bands like Killswitch Engage or even like As I Lay Dying. Again, that may be a con for some people. For me, it wasn't a big deal because I enjoyed the album, but I just figured I would just point it out there for you guys. So my top 3 favorite songs from this album here is going to be number 1, Into Oblivion. I thought that song absolutely reminded me of Killswitch Engage. This is Absolution, and that era of like Daylight, as Daylight Dies. I thought this song was absolutely terrific. Again, there was no official visualizer for this one, so I assume there may be a music video, and if there is, that makes sense because this song is absolutely a huge standout, and I think this will be a really fun song to hear live if they play it on this upcoming tour that they are doing right now. So really good song, really big standout for me here. My next favorite was Born Destroyers. That riff on that song was so sick. Like, it just had so many cool like distortions in the guitar, and it just hit really hard, and it just sounded so fantastic. I absolutely love that song. And then the last song, Bloodshed. Again, I'm talking about the riffs here, but that song I think had my favorite riff on the album. It was so good. The breakdowns hit. It was punchy. It was catchy. That, again, it is legitimately Chandler Core at its finest. Like, it's everything I love about music. And again, those are my top 3 favorite songs from the album. Again, that could absolutely change, but on my first initial listen, those are the top 3 songs that stuck out to me. So I'm going to compare Miss May I's Curse of Existence to a big old pot or a big old thing of mac and cheese. Is it familiar? It is, absolutely. Is it delicious? You betcha. This album is not going to change the world. I don't think they were expecting to do that, but what we did get was a very solid metalcore album through and through. There's like no electronic elements here. It reminds me of just like old school like metalcore, as I said, Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, As I Lay Dying, like those types of bands, and I love those types of bands. I mean, those are the bands that really got me into like heavier, like, you know, into metalcore essentially, and then I've kind of adapted my taste into more current bands like Wage War, Fit for a King, Era, Currents, those types of bands. So, but again, like those 3 bands, as I said, Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, and All That Remains, were really those gateways for me here, and this album felt like that. You know, it gave me like that nostalgic feeling of like, man, I remember when I first got into metalcore. This is so freaking sick. And I thought, again, Miss May I, Curse of Existence was such a good album. Again, it's not going to change the world by any means, but I loved it, man. I thought it was just so good to have them back. I hope we don't have to wait another 5 years for another album, because I just want more already, because I thought it was that good. I'm giving this album, Miss May I, Curse of Existence, a 10 out of 10. That may be a little controversial, but for me, I thought this album was absolutely fantastic. Definitely should end up on a place in my top 10 albums of the year. I cannot wait to listen to it in my own free time. I loved it that much.